Yo, what's up, beautiful peoples? Neil Richter here, representing the Beats, Brews, and Points of View podcast. I just wanted to come on here today to talk about a couple things. Well, mostly the J. Cole record, but also within that conversation, I want to talk a little bit about sampling. So J. Cole dropped a new record called Port Antonio. I listened to it twice so far, and I gotta say, this one is not for me for J. Cole as far as J. Cole goes. I am a J. Cole fan, but this record is just not my favorite of his, and it's mainly because of the narrative that he's trying to spin in it. Let me start by saying I'm a giant J. Cole fan. I've seen him many times live. I've seen him when he just had mixtapes out. I've seen Drake and Kendrick when they both just had mixtapes out too. So I've been on these guys since the jump. So that's why I wanted to talk about it a little bit today. And I guess before I get into the meat potatoes of the narrative behind this J. Cole song, I do want to talk about the sample first. I feel like, first of all, I want to say that I love samples. This is not to bash sampling. It's to bash the kind of sampling that's happening right now. So I'm getting real tired of people overusing samples, and especially samples that are previously a big ass song. So if you listen to the J. Cole Port Antonio, the sample in it is from Dead Presidents to Jay-Z from back in the Reasonable Doubt days. Jay was already sampling Nas at the time, and then went on to do that, and then it became a plethora of other people sampling this shit. And I think the version that J. Cole is using in this song, if I'm not mistaken, might be the same way that they flipped it for the Division record. Division, which I think is Drake's group, right? I think Division is on OVO. Those guys flipped it into like a slow R&B ballady type of song, which was actually kind of dope, but I'm just tired of like the same samples being regurgitated. It's like, I think the most exciting thing about sampling in like the 90s and shit, when it was first really becoming a thing, was producers like Havoc or, Large Pro or Madlib, J Dilla, all these guys, they were Dr. Dre is a great example of this. We're finding samples that were so unique that you were like, damn, when you discovered them finally, you're like, fuck, how did they even find their way to this? And I think that's what's so impressive about sampling. Using samples and flips of songs that were already previously gigantic is kind of a cheat code in a sense, because you've already got the listener, because like everybody loves the Hove song. So like obviously when you hear the J. Cole shit, you're like, oh, that's familiar to me. I love that song. So let me go with it. But anyways, that's not that big of a deal to me. I wish that he would have chosen a different sample, but whatever. Let's get into the song. The first half of the song, I think, is fire. I like the way he's rapping. I like what he's rapping about. And J. Cole, it's never disputed with me that he's an incredible rapper. I think we all know that J. Cole is an incredible rapper. What bothers me is this attitude and this narrative that he's trying to spin like he's above this battling that Drake and Kendrick were doing. You weren't above it when it was Diggy Simmons. You weren't above it when it was Kanye West and you were making false prophets. You weren't even above it in this own battle. You fucking responded yourself and then pulled the plug back. So let's not pretend like you're this holier than thou type of person that doesn't stoop to the lows of these other guys. And it seems like a disingenuous sentiment to share, to say that this is for clout. That's why these guys did it. They did it for clout and for clicks. When you're bringing these guys' names up right now because they're hot, and so you're going to get clicks and clout from it. In fact, you posted it just on Instagram, which is exactly that, clicks and clout. So that part doesn't make sense to me. So it seems hypocritical to say that. And then to big up Drake at the end seems silly to me, because this guy played you out, J. Cole. I mean, he baited you into this whole thing in the first place with the first person shooter thing. And so now to be like, yo, Drake's my guy. You didn't say Drake was my guy when he was in the shit with Rick Ross and Kendrick and Rocky and all these other guys, The Weeknd. You're just saying it now once the dust is settled to get your name hot again, which is strange to me. I just think that route to take was stupid, so I don't like this song. But having said that, that doesn't have a ton of bearing on how I feel about J. Cole. I still think he's an awesome artist. And in fact, I wish he would have just not mentioned this shit at all and keep making records like this fucking T Grizzly feature that he's on, because that shit is awesome. That song with T Grizzly, fire. Love that shit. I love the way he's rapping. It's up-tempo. It's great. This new one is kind of a dud to me, and it's really a snooze fest. So, that's what I got for you today. I promise these videos are going to get a little bit better, but a lot of the times my thoughts come to me while I'm at work or when I'm just getting to work on the ride to work. So that's when I cut these videos, is stepping outside of work here. And sorry for the Unabomber look. It's a little bit chilly in Detroit today. So, but yeah, on a positive note as well, I got some equipment to, get a little bit of a home setup going on so these things can look and sound a little bit better. But as you guys have seen, this is a brand new YouTube channel, so doing what I got, and that's my thoughts on this new J. Cole Port Antonio. I'm still excited for the fall off. I'm very excited for Kendrick. This Drake Party Next Door shit, and I don't really care. All right, peace.